So, hi everyone. Welcome back to another great episode from Holistic House. And today we're going to talk about something I'm particularly passionate about, which is why I'm introducing it. And I'm probably more in that age bracket when we start to consider a lot to do with biohacking beauty and anti-aging of the skin, and what actually causes skin to age at a faster rate, and what kind of biohacking natural tools can we use to slow down this process.
Perfect.
Okay.
Can't say I have a lot of experience in this area.
So true.
So I've just got some questions written down, and I'm basically a placeholder for you guys.
That's great.
So to start off, we're going to talk about skin aging. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
And we've got 6 hidden accelerators that Katrina wrote down.
Yeah.
We've got inflammation or inflammageing.
That's right, inflammageing.
As you would call it.
That's right.
So what is it?
Yeah.
And we'll start with what is it, and then we'll get into more detail.
Okay, yeah, just to take like a little step back, a lot of people think it's all aging, the skin, how it looks has all to do with your skincare. But actually it's not 100% to do with your skincare or very little to do with that. It's more to do with what's happening biologically within the human body. And that's basically what causes skin aging. So let's look at something really important, the main factor, which has to do with inflammation, and we call it inflammageing, right? So basically it's a process where inflammation is linked to the skin aging faster. Okay. So when we're producing too much inflammation or oxidative stress, or we have free radical attack within the body, it actually starts to damage important structures in the skin, primarily collagen, things like your hyaluronic acid and also your elastin, and you start to lose the structure of the skin and it ages faster.
Okay, so that's what – is it just low-grade inflammation, just inflammation as a whole?
It can be low grade and it can be high grade, will make it happen faster for sure.
Okay.
It can be caused, as we know, from a lot of different factors, having a lot of seed oils in the diet, having too many inflammatory foods in the diet, and even a diet that you might think is healthy and clean could actually be driving a lot of inflammation.
What do you mean by that?
Well, so the perfect example is, and we'll get into the next topic on glycation because these two link together. But basically, some people go, okay, well, I have so many healthy things. I've got organic rice and I've got organic oats. I do a bit of sourdough. I'm doing acai bowls within the diet. And we think, oh, my diet's so balanced and it's so perfect and I have a lot of vegetables in there. But what you don't realize is that a lot of these things, if we haven't got the right protein and the right natural fats in the diet and we're adding all these foods, it's creating blood sugar spikes or insulin spikes. What does that do? Drive up cortisol, drive up inflammation, and drive up a process called glycation, which basically ages the skin much faster.
So are you saying diets that are very carb-driven?
Yep, carb-driven, definitely. But even looking at things like lectins in certain vegetables as well. So if we're having a lot of lectins in the diet and we're not preparing them properly, those kind of foods can also do the same thing, and they come from a normal vegetable.
What foods are lectins prevalent in?
So lectins you'll find primarily in legumes, and certain types of beans. But lectins are also found in things like tomatoes and cucumber, and anything with the skin and the seeds inside tends to have a high lectin content.
Okay.
So even things we consider super healthy that could have a lot of antioxidants for anti-aging still might have a high lectin content. And what the lectins do is they stop you absorbing minerals well, and they break down your gut lining, driving more leaky gut, which can add to the process of skin aging.
Is that to do with glycation? And if so, what is glycation?
Okay, so glycation is the process where sugar basically attaches to collagen. So if we're having too much sugar, and that could be healthy sugars as well in the diet, that excess sugar will attach to collagen and elastin and make those structures less flexible, thinner, and they'll age faster and wrinkle more. Yeah.
Interesting. So that's why when people are having like just acai bowls first thing
Yes.
in the morning, them things are packed.
Oh my God, they
with
don't
sugar.
realize. So if you have all these, like, and I'm not discounting acai if acai was in its natural form,
Yeah.
but a lot of acai now has been frozen. They've had added sugars put on them. The blood sugar spikes are phenomenal. And a lot of people don't realize when they're doing an acai bowl, apart from all the other things that are added into it, initially in that, you've got to have about 10 to 12 teaspoons of sugar.
Yeah. I'm looking at it now. You're right. It's like 25 to 50 grams of sugar.
Yeah, 5
on
to 10
average.
teaspoons. Interesting, hey?
And that's just acai, banana, berries, mango, granola, and a bit of honey. Some people are putting like peanut butter.
Oh my goodness.
They're putting like Nutella, all that stuff.
I
like
mean,
that'd be good. Like I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie, it'd be
Yeah.
probably good before maybe
Training.
a big workout,
Workout.
and you need that like
Sugar
insulin
hit.
and-
Yeah, perfect.
just for your muscles and that.
Yeah, but the average person's not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, they're waking up. All these young people are hooked on these acai bowls. Oh, they're so healthy because they've got acai in them, so high in antioxidants, but not realizing the big sugar spikes that you have, driving up cortisol, and then adding to that process of skin aging, even at a young age.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So how does hormonal decline contribute to skin aging?
This is a biggie. So hormones are essential. It's another big role we play. And so a lot of women will say once they're starting to go through perimenopause, they start to notice more wrinkles on the skin and their skin aging at a faster pace. Why is that? Well, one of estrogen's jobs is to thicken the skin. Right. Okay. So when we start to lose natural estrogen or good forms of estrogen, the skin starts to thin out. Right. So estrogen plays a big role there. Cortisol, all these other hormones play a role within skin health as well. But estrogen primarily is the one that keeps us young, makes us look beautiful, stops wrinkles. Those good forms of estrogen are very important. So when we get to perimenopause and menopause, if we're not making enough or we're not taking something natural to produce these phytoestrogens, we will wrinkle faster.
So what would you suggest for someone to do to, counteract this as best they can?
Okay. Number one, I'd suggest doing testing.
Yeah.
I'm very big on testing. So I would go, okay, well, let's look and see where your estrogen is sitting. So let's do a saliva hormone test or let's do a urine test, the only two accurate ways to measure it, and then do a breakdown of the estrogen. So have a look at things like, where is my estrogen pathways? Have I got enough of the 2-estrogen? Is my estrogen methylating into healthy forms? And then basically, if your levels are low, you could look at things like natural phytoestrogens in the diet. So what is a phytoestrogen? Everyone's so scared of them. Is basically they're plant-based estrogens. Now, a great example of this is Japanese women, right? How's their skin? Phenomenal.
It's all the meso they have.
Yeah. And what is that? Phytoestrogen. Yeah. So they have miso, they have natto, they have tempeh, they have all this incredible fermented soy in the diet that we're all so scared of, right? But what it's doing is it's keeping their natural estrogen so their skin doesn't age as fast.
Interesting. Yeah. And it helps with the detox pathways of estrogen too.
Yeah, it helps to protect against breast cancer, all types of cancers. But it's very interesting. You'll find in Australia when someone gets diagnosed with cancer or any types of things, the old traditional way, and it's still the way now, is a lot of doctors will say to them, oh my God, don't take phytoestrogens, stay away from that, don't eat phytoestrogens. They place all this fear into them about this, which is completely not true, because phytoestrogens or plant-based estrogens are what they call weak receptivity. They have a weak receptivity towards cancer expression, right? And they protect against it. Very different than bad estrogens that come from the environment and from bad foods within the diet.
From like processed foods and
That's
stuff
right.
like that,
Yeah.
like seed oils and stuff.
100%.
So why do doctors say don't have phytoestrogens?
They put it all in one bucket. The typical way of not looking at the differences between things. So what happens is they put every estrogen into one bucket, right? So what I mean by that is you've got a good estrogen, which is 2-hydroxyestrogen, plant-based estrogen, but they put it in the same bucket as, say, a xenoestrogen or a metalloestrogen or the 4 and 16 estrogen, which are not the good forms, and they group it as one. They're completely different.
So they keep it black and white instead of looking at the nuance.
100%. And We know that the good estrogens have a protective role to play. They keep our bones strong. They stop us wrinkling. They protect against cancer. The bad estrogens, if they're in excess and going down the wrong pathways, have the opposite effect. So wouldn't it be smarter to clear the bad ones and keep the good ones?
Yeah.
I think so.
Now that you say that, it sounds very simple.
It is.
And to be fair, a lot of stuff in health is way simpler than people make it out to be. It's very complex problems, but the foundation of it is very simple.
I agree with you.
And people tend to overcomplicate it a lot.
Yeah.
I just want to put that out.
Yeah,
there. You know what I'm saying?
it's very true.
Because people try to sell they know the secret and that. They know they've got the special protocol that no one knows. But
no, it's very simple. It's so true.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm treating a complicated condition, I always find it's something simple that's causing it, you know, or it's a simple imbalance. And they often think later, well, that was pretty simple to fix, everything coming from one thing, right? It's like, so the human body is like that. Often it's one thing or one imbalance that's driving everything rather than us thinking, oh my God, it's complicated, it's multitude, all of this type of thing. And when we make everything in life very complicated then.
That's interesting you say that, because when I gave myself vitamin A toxicity from eating too much liver over a couple of months, everything was falling apart. My whole body was falling apart. My hair was coming out. I didn't know what was going on. It was just one
simple thing.
One imbalance, having a little bit too much vitamin A.
That's so true.
So I want to talk about, I've got down here, mitochondrial burnout. So how does that contribute to skin aging?
Okay, so your mitochondria, and we've talked about this in depth before in many episodes, are your power plants and your little cell activators that produce energy. Now, they exist through the entire body, through every cell, organ, tissue, gland, and basically their job is to produce adenosine triphosphate, and they keep us young, basically. So they exist in the skin as well. So if we start to get mitochondrial burnout where our ATP isn't working properly, then the same thing happens. We drive oxidative stress damage, inflammation, we stop producing energy in the skin, and we're more vulnerable to damage from things like blue light, EMF frequencies, all types of things.
How do you get mitochondrial burnout?
So mitochondrial burnout can come from things like poor diet, lack of sleep. We've talked about this before. You can burn your mitochondria out by 50% through consistent lack of sleep. Excess stress, raised cortisol over a long period of time will burn out your mitochondria just like it burns out your adrenal glands. Nutrient deficiencies. So having a poor diet and not, I personally love supplementing. I always hear, you don't need to supplement to stay healthy. You can get it all through your diet, which is BS, I think, personally, if you're living in a Western world, right?
Yeah.
I would say if I was in a teepee on the top of the mountain and the mountain has pure air and I'm in the Himalayas, and the food is being grown there in front of me and I'm harvesting, yes, I probably wouldn't need supplements.
Exactly.
But in Western world, we need these things. So if we look at the mitochondria, what supplements or nutrients are really important for mitochondrial health? So we need magnesium, we need activated B2, we need B3 is important, we need NMN or NAD, ubiquinol, coenzyme Q10, acetyl L-carnitine, alpha-lipoic acid. So all these nutrients need to be bioavailable through good absorption and through a healthy diet or through whatever you're taking that you're absorbing, so the mitochondria stays spark plugged.
How does your gut and digestion tie into all that?
So your microbiome's extremely important as well. It plays a role with keeping, we think of the gut microbiome. If we've got dysbiosis, if you have leaky gut, if you have an inflammatory bowel condition, what is happening in the rest of the body? Inflammation, right? So you're driving higher inflammation. It also increases glycation and it drives up oxidative stress or free radical attack within the body. All of those three things contribute to fast skin aging.
Interesting.
So that's some of them. There's a lot more roles to play, but that's some interesting ones. Simplifying things.
Yeah. We're keeping it simple, short, sweet
today.
And effective.
That's right.
So, no fillers.
That's right.
Stress and cortisol. I know you've been dancing around cortisol, been mentioning that.
Oh, yeah. The cortisol dance.
So what is cortisol's role in skin aging?
Okay, we're all like cortisol's been thrown out in the world a lot, and we think it's a bad molecule, and actually we need cortisol, right? The problem is if cortisol is released too much and too often. So cortisol's role from the adrenal glands is it's an anti-inflammatory, right?
Oh, what?
Yeah, we need cortisol. Didn't you know that? So we're slowly producing cortisol. So what should happen is when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol levels should start really high, right? If they start high, your inflammation is low and your energy is fantastic, and it's a sign of great adrenal health, right? Okay. The cortisol, this should then slowly peter down during the day and then peter off at nighttime, and that's known as a perfect cortisol graph, right? That's telling me you're coping with stress really well, your adrenal glands are happy, your nervous system is happy if that's happening, and then you have a great anti-inflammatory role that cortisol is playing, and it won't dysregulate blood sugar levels.
So what is a graph that you see with people that come in?
The complete opposite, right? So instead of starting high and petering down, most people that come in start low and peter up, right? Which means they can't get to sleep at night, they're restless at night, they become hungry, they want a snack at nighttime, and then when they do get to sleep, it's very poor. So they're sluggish in the morning, can't get out of bed, I need a coffee just to get my brain going. That's a bad cortisol graph.
Okay.
Right? And that's primarily what we see a lot in the Western world when we have a lot of stress, right? And we're not coping with stress, or we're not using great techniques in our life to cope, like perfect things, like things you do at nighttime. You use your glasses, you know, so you're using blue light glasses at nighttime.
Meditate.
Yep, you're meditating, you're getting into a beautiful sleep routine at night. You've got this routine, you know, people might be using saunas, all types of things. And then you have a good morning routine. So night routine is really important, and your morning routine is important because it has an impact on the health of the adrenal glands and on your cortisol levels. Now, the issue with cortisol, if it is high at wrong times during the day, right, it will create inflammation. It will dysregulate the pancreas and blood sugar levels, and that will drive a higher glycation, higher inflammation, and it will thin your skin. Cortisol thins the skin, right? So a couple of things you'll notice by cortisol imbalance is basically you can put on weight around the tummy. You get a cortisol band, it's called, right? So a lot of women will go, I'm exercising, I'm doing everything amazing, but why have I got this band? Right? I can't shift it. That's one thing. The other thing is your skin will start to get thinner.
Interesting. So how does cortisol tie into your nervous system?
So cortisol, so basically when you release adrenaline, right, in response to stress, fight or flight, okay, I need this, and sometimes we need it. That's part of the human response. Cortisol is released straight after that as an anti-inflammatory, right, to protect the body, right? What is the issue if you're in constant fight or flight? What would happen?
What would happen? Cortisol
would be boosted out all day, right? So you've got this constant output of cortisol all day, cortisol. What happens when we have too much cortisol in the bloodstream or in the body constantly instead of the times it needs to be in there? Glycation, inflammation, insulin imbalance, fast skin aging, thin skin, and wrinkles.
Damn.
So, and it can start young. Look, it's
That's deep. So what would you suggest someone do if they want to take their graft from looking like that to, oh no, that's how you want it to look. You want to start high. Perfect. So how can you take it from someone that's starting low, ending high, to starting high, ending low? Okay, so you can do it exactly how I spoke about before, lifestyle techniques. So looking at things like if your vagus nerve is out of tone because of your nervous system, do ice baths, getting in some saunas during the week. You know, red light saunas are very good for the nervous system. Preparing a good morning routine and getting a great night routine. If your cortisol levels are consistently high, stop overtraining, right? Because it will just keep them higher, and look at things like doing Pilates, adding some meditation, some stretching, nice walking, these types of things. They'll bring the cortisol levels down and regulate it. And naturopathically, we look at things like adaptogens, you know, so to lower high cortisol, we look at things like magnolia is beautiful for that.
ashwagandha can be really beautiful for that. And things like holy basil, your beautiful rhodiola, in some people, Siberian ginseng, so all these incredible kinds of things. I really love the mushrooms as well. Your chaga, your cordyceps, beautiful mushrooms to act as adaptogens to get cortisol balance. And the more consistently you start to add these things in along with a great diet, the more beautiful your graph will become, the better you'll cope with stress, the younger you will look.
Interesting. I want to add one thing in.
Yes.
If your screen time is extremely high,
yes,
that would also tie in to high cortisol.
Yes.
Especially if you're looking at social media a lot, short form content, all the emotional responses in your brain are constantly getting fired in different directions.
So true.
Cortisol's going up, adrenaline's going up, you're getting
right.
sad, happy.
Yes.
After, you'll feel a bit numb and your skin is not going to thank you.
Yeah, that's so true.
Spend a little bit less time on your phone.
That's true. Blue light, EMF frequencies, apart from that, even too much sunlight we need, but, can also all drive oxidative stress damage as well and age that skin at a much faster pace.
Oh, yes. Sun damage is a real big one. Actually.
Yeah. Look, we need the sun because we need vitamin D.
Yeah, it's so healthy for you. But.
Yeah. So I think the biggest issue now with a lot to do with the skin is using all these carcinogenic sun creams, right? Yeah. But that's a whole nother topic that we need to get into.
Like healthy sunscreens?
Oh, there's heaps.
Because I see people that are like 30, they look really young, and their biggest secret is using sunscreen.
Yes. But they're using natural sunscreens.
Yeah, and I guess it could protect your skin.
Yeah.
But to a certain degree, you're sacrificing maybe hormones and possible risk of cancers and that.
That's right. Yeah.
And as you say, they're not using.
But you also need like time in the morning and time in the afternoon in the sunlight without any sunscreen. They're not the dangerous times, So you can still go out in the sun. It's fine. We need to get sun. We need to pull it in to get the vitamin D. Well, what does vitamin D do? Control 900 genes in the body. And a lot of them are related to anti-aging, anti-cancer, bone health, hormonal health, everything, happiness.
Isn't it considered like a pro-hormone?
It is
Even
a hormone.
though it's a vitamin, it basically acts like a hormone in the body.
It's exactly right. And it would be interlinked with more jobs than any vitamin or than anything within the human body, vitamin D. It's incredible.
Oh, let's give a little quick tip.
Yeah.
What do you suggest people take vitamin D with?
Vitamin K.
Why is that?
For absorption. So it enhances absorption. A lot of people just take vitamin D on its own and they'll miss the vitamin K. The vitamin K can enhance the absorption of vitamin D, up to 10 or 20 times, sometimes even more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shameless plug on our website right now. We have vitamin D that's also got the K2 already in there. So none of the hard yards on your part. We did it all for you.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
We've even got one in liposomal form. Even better.
Shameless plug. So next subtopic.
Yes.
Lymphatic stagnation.
Oh, that's a biggie.
Tell me.
Biggest thing on TikTok too at the moment. Yeah. Lymphatic massage. I love it. Look, so mechanical stimulation, mechanical movement, lymphatic stimulation. So in our face, so we've spoken about this in our last topic last week, on the lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is our purification system. It's cleaning out toxins. It's also part of the immune system as well. We have so much lymphatic circulation within the face, right? And all around the head, back, it's everywhere. So if it becomes stagnant, you'll notice we start to get puffy, right? Yeah. If we start to get puffy in those areas, we get stagnation of hormones, inflammation in the area, more oxidative stress. So it starts to worsen that within the face and it impairs the ability to make really good collagen and elastin.
I did a little bit of research after our last podcast about because I was curious, why would we have a system in our body that we need to mechanically move ourselves? It seems quite redundant. It seems like with stupid design and evolution. But it makes sense because you think about back in the day, we were always moving.
Yeah.
So it didn't need to pump on its own. We were always active, but it's just recently, since the industrial movement, that we've been so stagnant.
Yeah, and more jobs are sitting down for long periods.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why people, in the past, it wasn't a thing where people would be all puffy and whatnot from lymph storage and no lymph movement.
Yeah, that's right.
It just wasn't a thing because no one was that stagnant usually.
Really interesting.
So probably the biggest thing you can do besides all these massages and that
is moving the body.
Move more throughout your day. Move as much as you can throughout
your
day. That's how we evolved.
Yeah, it's so true. No, you're right. Like even as I consult all day. So normally I'm sitting down, but I get up consistently, right, to move my body. And I go and grab herbs, come back in, do all my testing and that. So I'm moving around. But I remember in the past, when I used to consult many years ago, I had a job over in Thailand and I wasn't allowed to do that. I had to sit there all day, like basically just doing consult after consult, 12 consults in a row, just half an hour lunch during the day. And you know what? I think I put on about 7 kilos of fluid. Seriously, right? It was true. And that was the only difference that I had. My diet was beautiful, clean. I'd still exercise at the end of the day, but my job was so stagnant. So my lymph wasn't moving. So you're 100% right.
Yeah. Do you find that it builds up over time?
Yes. You mean the lymphatic
congestion? Like if you're sitting down for long periods of time and then you're doing that for like a whole year, your own lymph system becomes a bit lazy or congested in a sense.
I agree.
It's a bit harder to start.
Yeah, it's almost like it has its own innate memory.
It
does. That's how intelligent we are. That's why we're born with all these neurons. We were given them for that intelligence, and every system in the body has its own intelligence. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah,
interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
So now we've got collagen versus elastin. What are the differences?
So collagen is your structure. It's what holds us together. It was what makes us up. So great example, and I'm going off track with skin aging, is when people get hernias, which are very common, right? And they're like, well, hernias are common. And I'm like, well, no, you're not meant to get a hernia. There's a reason behind it, right? If your collagen network starts to loosen within the body, what would happen? So if you've got this hard concrete structure and the concrete starts to get concrete cancer through it and it opens up, things start to fall. Is this right? And what's the result of that? A hernia. In women or men, prolapse, bladder prolapse, these types of things. And they go, oh, there's nothing you can do. You can only have surgery. And I go, no, it's a warning sign by the human body that you're not giving the right things to keep your collagen in place. So collagen is your structure. Okay. Elastin is your elasticity. It's like a rubber band, right? So we can't have something stiff because you hit it and it will break, right? Yes, we want something strong, but we need to have some elasticity to it. So it has resilience, and it won't break, right? And so that's basically what elastin is. And it's all held in place by like a beautiful fluid kind of hydrating structure known as hyaluronic acid.
Ooh.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
I love it.
So do they all, as you age, do they all become less, for lack of a better term? Like they all degenerate together simultaneously? Yeah,
some faster than others depending on genetics, depending on your lifestyle, depending on diet, because different things make collagen, different things produce hyaluronic acid, so.
What about elastin?
And elastin too. They're all made from, there's some common structures that work on all of them, but there's other things that we need to make up each. So yes, generally one may age faster than the other, but it's going to have a knock-on effect on each of them. Does that make sense? Okay.
So we've got collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid.
That's right, yes.
People tend to only focus on collagen.
Yes.
So why is that not enough? And also, what would you do to boost hyaluronic acid and elastin?
Okay, so that's right. Our whole focus often is just on collagen, So you could have good collagen but have no hyaluronic acid. For a good example is by the time you're into your 40s or 50s, you've got 50% less hyaluronic acid production. And so you lose your lubrication, your fluid balance, and you become more dry. And that dryness has a knock-in effect on elastin, and it loses its elasticity. And when that loses that affects collagen, right? Yeah. So a good example, collagen, to make collagen. So a lot of people go to me, well, I take collagen, I shouldn't wrinkle. No. Yes, that's great, right? Firstly, are you absorbing the collagen? What type of collagen is it? Is it working in the skin? That's one important thing. So yes, but you need other things to produce it. So you need vitamin C, right? You need silica is really important. Most common deficiency I see with everyone that comes in is silica. You need certain amino acids like proline, lysine, glycine. You need copper, So the biggest peptide out there for anti-aging at the moment is
GHKCU.
Yeah, that's right. And what does that contain?
Copper,
right? That's why it helps with the skin and the hair, is because copper helps collagen, right? Production. So they're really important for that. Hyaluronic acid has a lot of similar things, but hyaluronic acid, for instance, one of the best natural things to produce hyaluronic acid is a mushroom known as the tremella mushroom, right? Tremella is also known as the snow mushroom. It's really pretty, and it looks like a sponge, and I absolutely love tremella. Tremella I use in one of my anti-aging beautiful mushroom formulas. It's a main ingredient. The reason why is it contains 500 times the amount of hyaluronic acid, right? So it's one of the best natural boosters in the world of hyaluronic acid. So as soon as you take it, what does it do? It plumps things up. So hyaluronic acid is a plumper, right? So if my skin's aging, if I can plump it naturally internally with natural things like hyaluronic acid that we produce within the body, our skin will naturally plump up. And if we're starting to get sagging in the skin, we get less sagging. But it also helps joints, because what do you need in your joints to cushion them? Hyaluronic acid.
What is hyaluronic acid produced by?
It's so hyaluronic acid is made from similar things. So you need vitamin C, you need good oils as well. You need certain amino acids. So there's certain cofactors which are quite similar to making them, but there's a lot of other foods and substances that can help to produce it.
Yeah, is that the thing to do with fibroblasts and stuff?
Fibroblasts, yes, sorry. That was a good reminder. Thank you.
I was trying to remember what you were telling me earlier.
That's right. So fibroblasts help to produce hyaluronic acid, right? But they get damaged from inflammation, oxidative stress, same thing, too much cortisol, sugars, things like that. And we lose our fibroblasts, and when you lose the fibroblasts, you're not going to make as much hyaluronic acid.
How do people lose fibroblasts?
Through too much aging, right? But you can increase the production of it through getting your inflammation levels low. Repairing your gut microbiome is a big impact on that. So they discovered a poor gut microbiome would impact fibroblast production, and you wouldn't produce enough hyaluronic acid, right? So that's another area: inflammation, oxidative stress, high cortisol, lack of sleep as well. So all the common things we talk about all the time.
What is fibroblast?
Fibroblast is a type of structure within the body. Could be like a type of cell, a fibroblast, but its job, think of it, fibro, structure, blast, creation, right? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, look. So it's giving natural fibrotic structure, hyaluronic acid, all these types of things. So it's very important for that production. But like I said, by the time you kind of hit 40s, 50s, most people have gone down 50% in their fibroblast production. Right. But there's so many great natural things that can increase it. So certain types of antioxidants can do it. Another really great one that we had in our Golden Glow product for the skin that you really love.
Astaxanthin.
Oh, astaxanthin. Yeah. Incredible antioxidant, great for fibroblast production.
True.
That's one of its greatest things. So you look at something like that. There's some great herbs like moringa extract, very good for fibroblasts. All of your beautiful seaweeds, so I put in all my beautiful mushroom forms. I know I talk about them, but they're so beautiful, but I use phytoplankton in all of them, right? From the ocean, microalgae. Microalgae are one of the highest sources of hyaluronic acid.
Interesting.
And fibroblast production. So they keep you young. So when Japanese women having phytoestrogens and having seaweed have the perfect anti-aging diet. No wonder their skin is flawless.
Yeah, that's like a big thing in their culture.
Oh, so
like,
big.
They look very young for their age.
Oh my gosh. Even in their 70s and 80s, and you're going, some of them don't even have wrinkles on the skin.
Crazy.
Their diet is perfect for anti-aging.
I've got a little stat here. So
Yes.
by age 40 to 50, your skin contains 50% or more less hyaluronic acid than in youth.
That's so true. That's so interesting.
Crazy.
So that's why you want to boost it. You know, if you can use it now. I know a lot of women might go and get fillers with hyaluronic acid, you know, when they're going doing that. But it's even better. It's biological. You know, you can do a lot of stuff from the outside, but if the inside isn't being balanced properly, everything you do on the outside is very short term.
Is there any issues with putting hyaluronic acid in your skin?
Oh, well, this is a whole nother topic.
Okay. Is that like a save for another day?
Yeah, we're going to save that for another day. So I think we'll do a whole podcast on fillers and types of things. I mean, hyaluronic acid in itself is not bad. You know, if it's pure hyaluronic acid, it depends the fillers that they actually put in with that. If you were using pure hyaluronic acid and it's natural to the human body, what's the body just going to do? It's going to use it and break it down anyway quickly, which is why you have to do it again.
Interesting.
It's much longer term if you're balancing biologically the body from the inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
If someone was watching right now and they were a bit like confused on next steps to take from A to B, just starting out, what would you suggest someone do if they wanted to counteract aging that they've probably already gone through and stop or stagnate any further aging?
Yes.
What would you suggest they do from right now?
Yes.
Till whenever?
So being a naturopathic doctor, like my thing is always to do testing. That's how I am, you know, but I mean, I'll do two areas here. I'll do the simple way, right? Or the supplement stacks that you could add in or the simple changes. And then I would do the way where if you want to know more about your human body and what's perfect for you, then you want to do testing. Okay. So those 6 factors I was talking about, the inflammageing, the glycation, you know, the oxidative stress, you know, basically the 6 that we talked about, mitochondria. So the 6 factors that cause aging.
Yeah.
If you want to know what's the hormones the most pertinent to you, you can actually test for all of those things. So you can do medical tests or you can do tests naturopathically, which we do a lot inside, and it can show your cells if there's glycation, if there's oxidative stress in the cells, and then you know exactly where you should start from. You can also do an amazing DNA test which relates to longevity and skin aging. So there is a great DNA that they do related to how do I slow down the process of skin aging based on my own genetics. You know, so that's one area. The simple things are to look at things like, is there anything in my lifestyle that could be making me age faster? Am I stressing out? Have I got a poor sleep routine? Am I eating an inflammatory diet? And simply clean those things up. Right? So go for a diet that's low in lectins, anti-inflammatory. It's got good, healthy, organic grass-fed meats if you eat that, or fish. You know, you're using low lectin vegetables, you know, sweet potato, different types of things, you know, and having good fats in the diet to produce hyaluronic acid because fats are important. So you could look at that as well. And then if you do want to add any kind of important supplements in to help with that, look at things that boost collagen. So look at simple things like silica. Should I put some liposomal vitamin C in? Can I use one formula? Don't just do collagen on its own. Look at all your cofactors.
What about beef broth and that?
Oh, amazing. So beef broth actually is very good for gags, but it's also a good source of producing fibroblasts and hyaluronic acid.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I love any kind of broth, organic chicken broth. Beef broth is much stronger for sure.
Oh, 2 birds with one stone, fixing your gut too.
Yeah, doing it once because you've got the microbiome as well, which is awesome. So I love things like that. So that would be sorry. That would be the perfect kind of diet when we're looking down that kind of path. So if we're looking at things like how can I slow down skin aging? One, we can look at testing, do some naturopathic testing, work out the best cofactors. If you don't want to go down that path or it's too expensive to do that, then look at these simple tips. I actually wrote an amazing book a couple of years ago on anti-aging. It was called The Alchemy of Beauty. And so basically in that book, it has all of the foods, recipes, and all the factors in the beginning that can lead towards skin aging.
Perfect.
I forgot all about that. Look, that's a simple way to start. I'm not trying to have a plug here, but I remember I wrote that. That book was written because at the time when I wrote that a couple of years ago, everyone was doing Botox. Everyone was doing toxic fillers. It was just over.
Oh, that's when the big Kim K movement was. And that.
That's right. That's why I wrote it. And I wasn't discounting those things, but I was also saying, look, this is not going to be long-term and reflect beauty from the inside out and give you the result you want unless you biologically do some changes from the inside.
Yeah.
And that's what that book was about.
Yeah, because not everyone wants to go down the fillers route. And some people, they want to combine both of them.
That's right. That's right. And like I said, I'm not discounting anyone that does that because most women, 99% or 98% do that. But you've got to also be balanced and look at the other side, and you want to, if there's any toxins from them, getting them out of your system, supporting your structure underneath, supporting hyaluronic acid, elastin and collagen, and you're going to get a better result long term. If you do these things, what tends to happen if you're not doing it from the inside, you might be pushing it out to 6 months and then it's 3 months and it's 2 months and you have to do it every month.
Yeah, because it really is just putting a Band-Aid over the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're not looking at the root cause.
That's right. I mean, you look at it, go back to the Japanese women, there's probably other cultures the same. They're not doing it, but they've got an incredible diet, and obviously a different kind of slower lifestyle and things like that. And their skin stays young into their 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. We can learn a lot of lessons from this. Whereas in the West, where after short term, it's like Manjaro, all of these quick little fixes to lose weight, but not looking at the whole balance within the body. And as I said, I'm not discounting any of those things, and some people need them short term, right? Or in lower amounts, but do all the natural stuff as well. And wow, you're going to glow from the inside out with such incredible beauty and incredible skin, hair, and eye health. Yeah. So true.
Is there anything you would like to add to today's episode? I feel like it was to the point.
Yeah. They're my favorite things. But like I said, if you want to just look at just simply hyaluronic acid, collagen, elastin, make sure you've got a good vitamin C and you're absorbing it well. Your absorption of proteins are really good. Look at silica, look at copper if you're low in copper. So look at some of these cofactors, make sure you're hydrating your skin. You're drinking really good water. The water's nice and alkaline, high in minerals, right? That's your most important thing because if you're if you're dehydrated, you're not going to make hyaluronic acid at all, and the skin will become dehydrated and start to sag. So that's another really important factor that I missed out towards anti-aging. It's the water quality that you drink.
And have your electrolytes.
That's exactly right. Look, thank you. Look, that was a good one.
Beautiful.
I like that one. Did it record?
Feels like a gamble nowadays.
Oh, a gamble. Yeah, no, it doesn't it?
Yeah, let's download that software on your
computer. Did you call me? No, baby. I'm just finishing the podcast.
The what?
Yeah. I'll call you when I go, okay? Do you want me to bring you something home? I don't know. I've got to do some stuff at work. I've got to talk to Ruby about her job. Well, because she's moving to full time, so we're just having a discussion about it.